3 fours, 2 sixes. I mean, I don't think he'll mind me saying he doesn't look like a natural athlete. I think that's putting it kindly. So I suppose this is the way to go.
He's got some weight behind the ball, hasn't he? He's a big, strong man.
Absolutely. It's doing him the world of good at the moment.
Yeah, Mavi's going to have to mix this up. He's changed the angle. He's come round the wicket, which is probably a smart move. I think he probably is going to have to try and bowl some sort of slower ball or slower ball bouncer, maybe even a bouncer. Just take a risk and try and make something happen, because he's going to come at him every ball here.
Right, Mavi around the wicket to Rajapaksa. Slower ball, and it's hit high in the air out towards deep mid-wicket, and it's got the legs. It's into the stands once again. Well, this is like stick cricket, isn't it? 4 followed by 3 consecutive sixes. Rajapaksa 31 from 8. Punjab Kings 43 for 1 in the 4th over. This is carnage.
Yeah, Mavi there, he's just run up and tried to bowl an off-cutter wide of the off stump to the left-hander. So in theory, when it hits the pitch, it grips and moves away from the left-handed batter. Makes it hard to access that leg side. But unfortunately for Mavi, the ball didn't really grip out of the pitch. And Rajapaksa was able to swing it over that mid-wicket region for another 6.
Shreyas Iyer has got a problem. It was clear that he took Tim Southee off after that first over. Maybe something not quite right with Southee. Maybe he's not quite at full fitness. His pace wasn't really up there. He was bowling inviting deliveries to the 2 left-handers. Made the change, brought Shivam Mavi into the attack, and Shivam Mavi has been taken to the cleaners so far. 22 runs off the first 4 balls of his spell. How does he respond this time? He's back around the wicket. Short this time, and Rajapaksa swats this in the air, and he's going to be taken by Tim Southee at mid-off. So he gets his man in the end. It was the shorter delivery that did the job. It was an ugly-looking shot. Such a shame from Rajapaksa. He's gone for 31 from 9. Punjab 43 for 2.
It looked like he just got himself into a bit of a pickle, didn't it? He didn't quite know whether to go through the leg side, through the offside. He stepped back to try and give himself a little bit of room, but the ball hammered into the pitch and just maybe bounced on him a little bit, and hit the back quite high up around the splice kind of region and lobbed to extra cover. But that's a big breakthrough for KKR, and whoever is due to be bowling the next over will be breathing a huge sigh of relief, because if the next 2 balls had disappeared as well, bowling overs 5 and 6 in a power play with 2 set batters is one of the most challenging things you can do as a bowler in the game of cricket. So yeah, that's just changed the way this power play is going again, and the next bowler will hopefully have someone who might be giving themselves a couple of balls to have a look. Having said that, striding to the crease, not renowned for patting too many balls back, is Liam Livingstone. Absolutely, yes.
Livingstone replaces his fellow big-hitting Rajapaksa, who got a huge round of applause from his dugout there, Anil Kumble included. So they might have think he's done the job that was asked of him. That is his role in this side. He just goes out there, gets on with it. And they've got a lot of firepower in this middle order as well. They've got Livingstone, as you say, striding out to the crease to face the final ball of this 4th over. Shikhar Dhawan is still there. He's no mug. And then they've got the likes of Shah Rukh Khan and Odean Smith in that middle order, all power players. So hopefully, from our point of view, from a neutral point of view, the carnage won't stop just yet. Shivam Mavi will be hoping otherwise. He's got his man. It's cost him 22 runs off 5 deliveries so far. He's going to come over the wicket here to Liam Livingstone with Punjab 43 for 2 in the 4th over. In he comes, slip in place, and this is just driven gently to mid-off. That might be Liam Livingstone's one-sighter for the evening. Dot ball to finish off a very expensive over there for the Kolkata Knight Riders. 43 for 2 after 4. They've got themselves sort of accustomed to the pitch, I would say, the Punjab Kings now. They know what it's doing. They know it's a good track. And they would have some sort of target in mind, perhaps, at this stage. What do you reckon that would be?
I don't know. It depends on the team. Some teams do have a specific target in mind. Some teams don't like doing it because it gives them, it might hamstring them from a psychological perspective. I think you made a really good point actually about the bench clapping Rajapaksa walking off. You know, he's got 31 off 9 balls there, and you're right, that is job done for a modern day top order T20 batter. You know, historically you'd want to average 30, 40 with the bat. We were talking about this in different formats of the game, but now the length of the batting orders that we have in only a 20 over game the ability of people down the order to strike the ball. You can go hard up top. And the best teams do have good batters batting at 9, and it allows the top order to play with the freedom that he's just played with, and get the Kings off to a really solid start.
And he came in at 2 for 1, and they were struggling for 1.5 overs to get the ball off the square. So he has changed the context of the game in that regard, certainly, as we see another bowling change here. And in the power play, the mystery spinner Varun Chakravarti is going to start around the wicket here to the left-handed Shikhar Dhawan. In he comes, and Dhawan looks to sweep, goes down the leg side the ball, and should be signalled wide, is by the umpire. 44 for 2. He's a handful, isn't he, Varun Chakravarti? One of that new breed of Indian spinners making waves in white ball cricket, and he is again to Dhawan, again on the leg stump line, this time turned around the corner. Looking for 2, will settle for just the single. 45 for 2. Was he there in 2019?
No, not at KKR. I think the previous season he'd been training a bit with KKR, and then I don't think they managed to get hold of him in the auction. He was somewhere else. Didn't actually set the world alight, but then they managed to get hold of him the following year. First couple of balls very straight, sort of leg stump kind of line. Really important for any spinner in this format of the game, whether you're mystery, whether you're a traditional off spinner, it doesn't really matter, not to leave the width of the stumps. As soon as you leave the width of the stumps, from a line perspective, as a spinner in this format of the game, you are going to get hurt.
Right, Liam Livingstone on strike, slip in place. In comes Chakravarti and is driven past extra cover. There's a bit of a chase on here for Umesh Yadav from mid-off. Manages to pull the ball up inside the rope, and Livingstone, good running there, is through for 3. Livingstone does like a bit of spin, doesn't he? Treats the spinners with a bit of disdain more often than not. He'll feel good with getting the ball off the middle of the bat there. Yeah,
Liam isn't bothered who you are. He's going to try and smack you out the ground. And when he's in the field, he won't mind having a word either. It doesn't matter how many international games you've played. He's always been like that since he first started playing for Lancashire.
Chakravarti round the wicket, short to Dhawan and quick, and just cramps him as he tries to pull that into the leg side. Ends up Q-ending it back down the pitch, and there is no run. Does he need to almost G himself up, just get in a fight with somebody, just to G himself up? Is that part of it?
I don't know if it's a conscious decision. I think it's just the way he is. He's never been shy of confidence, and it works for him.
Chakravarti is again down the leg side, very full, and good take behind the stumps by Billings, but signalled wide once more. Not quite getting his radar right in this first over, Chakravarti.
Yeah, clearly desperate to give Dhawan absolutely no width whatsoever, and he'll be prepared to bowl the odd leg side wide to stick to that.
And he is again very straight, and it's tucked around the corner on the leg side. Another single there to Shikhar Dhawan. 50 up for the Punjab Kings then inside this 5th over. They've lost a couple of wickets. We always talk about that stat, don't we, of don't lose 3 wickets in the power play. And you're in at least with a shout. 50 for 2 represents a pretty good start.
Certainly does, with 8 balls still remaining. So yeah, the Kings will be happy with this. Couple more boundaries and they're set.
Slip still in place here for Livingstone. Chakravarti makes his way in, slightly short, and again just tucked leg side around towards 45. And Livingstone gets down the other end for another single. Dre Russ in the field. Will we see him with the ball? He's got his dyed mohawk in the colours of the KKR, purple and gold. It's more bleach blonde than gold, isn't it? But the effort's there. This is again very full, and Dhawan looks to sweep. It wraps him on the pads and can't get it past the man at short fine leg. So end of a pretty tidy over after they conceded 22 off the previous one of Shivam Mavi. Chakravarti going for 8 from that over. And the Kolkata Knight Riders, after 5 overs, are 51 for 2. A few more thoughts from you, Harry, and then Kevin Howells will take up the call for the next 5 overs.
Yeah, 8 runs off that over, but of course there were 2 or 3 wides in there, so off the bat, reasonably tidy over. And as I say, of course, you never want to bowl 2 or 3 wides in an over, but it was quite clear from the way that Chakravarti was bowling there at Shikhar Dhawan, that the analyst has sat him down before the game and shown him probably a spot just on Dhawan's right knee, which is where he wants to try and deliver the ball as much as possible. There will be some sort of stat behind that. It was clear that there was absolutely no width on offer. He wasn't even trying to bowl at off stump. It was all leg stump and just outside.
Well, Southey's back on. Hello, everybody. Nice to be with you again. Start of the 6th over. Final one of the power play, and this one is pushed by Livingston onto the onside up towards mid-on. Interested to see if we do see Ray Russell bowling today. There was some talk of whether he was actually going to play because of 1 or 2 injury concerns. He actually only got through 2.2 overs in the match the other night. He went for 36 runs and he was off the field for a little bit of time as well. So it will be interesting to see. But I mean, just play him as batter. Possible. We'll wait and see. 51 for 2 here though. 6th over now. Livingston fancies a bit over the top there, and a 6th. Over mid-wicket, and the umpire signals both arms raised high into the nighttime sky. This is, the 8th game of this tournament, already 112 tournament sixes. And that one, the 112th coming from Liam Livingston, tucked into that one and flying through the air, it went over the boundary, 6.
Yeah, he had a look at a few balls, but you can't give yourself too long to get yourself in this format. So we talked about the depth of the batting and the quality of the pitches. He knows there's an over left of this power play, and he fancies Southey, I think, and I think he'll probably continue to come quite hard this over. Southey, to me, does look like he's bowling slightly down on pace.
I thought he had a good night the other night. Tim Southey did well. Just wonder if maybe that took a bit out of him. He missed the first game, brought in for the second. I just wonder if maybe this is the 3rd game you see in a week for the team, although only his second, as I say, and this is just his 2nd over. In and bowls into the body of Livingston, who a little bit of a cry, and I'm not too sure if that was pain or just missing out or shock and surprise the way it came back in sort of hip height, wasn't it? Into him. He'll go through for 1, and the score midway through the 6th over moves to 58 for 2. But Southey, did a good turn the other night. I was really quite impressed with him. He was sort of the go-to man for them in the end, if you can have that in T20 cricket. But maybe it's taken its toll.
Yeah, there are not many more experienced bowlers out there in the world, are there, playing their trade in all formats. He's a serious bowler and very, very experienced. That last ball there, just nipping back into the right-hander. Whether he rolled his fingers down it, I'm not sure, but I wouldn't be surprised. Took
3 for 20, did Southey the other night versus RCB. Now this is in the air behind square. It's going to be safe on the offside. In fact, it's going to race towards the boundary. Will be pulled back in. No, just beats 2 fielders trying to chase it down. They fail to get there. So it rolls to the boundary and it takes the score up to 62 for 2 for the Punjab Kings in this match, as we say, coming towards the end of the first week of competition, and my very first week also with the IPL. I have to say I've enjoyed it. Yes, the game's gone a little bit longer than I'm used to with T20 cricket. Never mind, every ball's an event. Every ball seems to take forever sometimes to bowl, but there's been some wonderful skills on show. Terrific. 62 for 2 the score here. 2 balls left to the 6th over. Does get an edge on that, caught low by the keeper. Billings takes the catch. Yes, Southey gets the wicket, and it's the wicket of Dhawan, and he's gone for 16 off just 15 deliveries. 62 for 3 with 1 ball left of the 6th over, and as I say, caught by the keeper, low down, good catch in the end, but a wicket for Southey. For whatever struggles he may be having, he's got a very important wicket.
Yeah, truth be told, it was a very similar delivery to the ball before. He's running, I think, every ball this over and rolled his fingers down the ball, which means that he's getting a little bit of cut back into a right-hander and away from a left-hander. The ball before, the ball deceived Dhawan. It was again a cutter just wide of off stump. He swung his hands at it, didn't quite get hold of it. It looped over behind square on the offside and trickled away for 4. So that was a moral victory for Southey. And then the very next ball, almost identical delivery. And this time, no such luck for Dhawan, and he does get that edge through to Billings. And 3 down inside the power play, the Kings, but with 62 runs on the board, they'll still be reasonably happy. I think probably you might say it's honours even at this point.
A little chat there from Southey and Livingston. Shikhar Dhawan caught Billings, bowled Southey for 16 off 15 balls, 1-4, 1-6. Bauer comes in now to replace 19-year-old, just a teenager, coming in to replace Shikhar Dhawan. I mean, that's 2 ends of a career, of course. Shikhar Dhawan playing his 305th T20 match How many did I say he scored there? My maths is a shocker. So I'm going to try and work it out. Just add up here. 832. So 8,832 runs he scored now. 43 in his first outing. I'm called upon to bat, but he's got a 16 tonight. This is only their second game for the Punjab Kings. It's their third, of course, for KKR. And this one is pushed into the offside. As Bauer just happy just to see off that first delivery faces from Southey. 62 for 3 after 6 overs. Livingston 10. Bauer yet to get off the mark. And Southey now with 2 overs, 1 for 15. Okay, so the wicket's down. Really good number of runs on the board. What are you doing now coming into the first part of the middle part of this innings now as a team? What are you looking to do? Because I'd keep on reading. You just keep going. You just keep going. But it's got to have more subtleties than that, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think it all comes down to wickets lost. I think if they were 2 down, they probably would just keep going. 1 or 2 down, they would keep going. The fact that they've just lost that last wicket means they might rebuild a little bit. That being said, I don't expect to see Livingston rein it in too much. I think he'll continue to go quite hard. And then if they get to sort of 4 down, they might just have to rein it in for a few overs through the middle there. But I'm not expecting to see too many forward defensives. And
there's the man, really. Is it too much to say he invented it, Brendan McCullum, the idea of you just keep on going? He sort of did. I suppose everything's an evolution, but he was part of that game-changing sort of atmosphere and approach set by New Zealand. And run on the onside for Livingston here, start of this next over. But Southey straight down to the boundary at the end of that over. He has a drink, obviously a sip of water and whatever, and then chatting away with McCullum. So projected score, we're talking definitely around the 200 mark here. As I say, maybe just a wary eye on that 3 wickets down though at the moment, but 63 for 3 rather. Chakravarti in his second over. It's gone for 9 runs so far in total, 8 off the first, 1 off this second. In and balls to Bauer, who just pushes it back up towards the bowler. I was interested, in fact there's quite a lot that sort of sparked my interest in the IPL again this year, and I'll come back to you on that in a moment. As Bauer faces, will he find a run? No, he can't get it away here, so this is a little bit of, I suppose, good disciplined bowling. Things just starting to look a little bit tighter, as maybe they would at the end of the power play into the middle section. But this pressure, if you like, or this relationship between owners and players and owners and the team. Bauer facing, takes one hand off the bat. He's starting to have a look, though. Before we go on to that, he's a young lad. He's starting to look a little bit frustrated here already.
At 0 off 4, you could see the pressure building already, can't you? I'm sure Livingston's walking down the pitch now.
Do you know what I think? I thought he said good ball, is what I thought he said to him, which sort of takes the pressure back off him.
Yeah, quite possibly. And whether it was or it wasn't, it's a good bit of psychology there from Livingston, who's a senior player, to just try and settle the young lad down.
Chakravarti in again. Will he find a run? Yes, he will. So great pep talk there from Livingston, because Bauer gets himself off the mark now behind square on the offside. 1 ball remaining of the 7th over. Michael Vaughan, I think, was one of the first. I mean, it would have happened many times before, but he was one of the first I genuinely spotted as a captain who, when in the field, the bowler would come in and bowl, and the ball would fly, I don't know, somewhere in the ground as Chakravarti in bowls, and just turns around the corner and go through for 1. And in that circumstance, after 7 overs, he would just nod. Sometimes the cameras would go close on him. He'd just nod and go, good shot, as if to say, bowler, you're fine. Nothing you could do about that. The batter's just got the better of you there, that's all. As you say, sometimes it was because it was, and sometimes he'd be just supporting the bowler. 7 overs gone, 65 for 3 the score here. Agarwal made 1. Rajapaksa 31 off 9 deliveries. Gosh, that was a thriller. And Darwin 16 off 15. Livingston's 12 off 8 at the moment. Not out. Bauer is 1 off 5.
Yeah, I think one of the key skills that you have to learn probably as a captain, but also as a bowler in this format of the game, is to not pay too much attention to if you deliver the ball where you want to deliver it. If if you execute the skill that you've tried to execute, if it disappears for 6, try not to worry too much. If it gets edged for 4, try not to worry too much. If someone plays a good shot off you, they play a good shot off you. You've got to just focus on executing what you're trying to execute, and more often than not, that should stand you in good stead.
First ball from Narayan of the night, and Livingston goes back and turns it away through mid-wicket for a single. As I say, this is the third outing in the week for Kolkata Knight Riders, so Sunil Narayan's bowled against the RCB, also against the Super Kings, 1 for 12 and no wicket for 15. Never mind the wickets, the economy, so such discipline, really putting pressure. So from a batting point of view, if you keep your wicket against him, it's something. And this time, he'll have to turn around and get back into his ground, slips and makes it. Casual enough in the to start off with, because he just turned the ball on the leg side. Livingston says to him no, presumably, but in turning he slipped, but he made his ground. He was okay in the end, just having a look. No, so he went out 2 or 3, and does he lose his boot again? Now when I say again, we had this yesterday when a batter lost his boot, and I'm thinking to myself as I watched it yesterday, he's okay, he's safe. I've never seen a batter lose a boot before setting off for a run, and we've seen it again, 2 in 2 here. What's going on now? Yesterday it seemed to be, and I forget who the batter was, he hadn't actually done the laces up. Of the boot. Now, I don't know what's happened there, or whether these are sort of different sort of boots, There definitely were some laces on them that hadn't been done up. Facing, and he is a teenager, and therefore maybe it's trendy. Down towards fine leg, and we'll get a single. He moves on to 2, 67 for 3 after 8 overs. Is it just me? I've lost my memory. I know my memory's not great, but I don't remember very often seeing batters lose their boots as they set off for runs. There he lost as he turned round, didn't he? Yeah,
it's a rarity. I can't say it happened to me many times on the pitch.
Livingston on 13, down the leg side, taken well by Billings. And it's leg side wide, signalled by the umpire. 68 for 3.
Nottinghamshire's Luke Fletcher, an ex-teammate of mine, used to get a brand new pair of boots, tie the laces up on day 1, and that would be the last time they get untied or retied. He used to just slip them on and off. No.
Livingston on 13 and push back up to the bowler. I say no, it doesn't really surprise me. Hey, we're just under a week away from the new domestic season. Never mind the opponents and everything. I hope Luke has another terrific year. He had a terrific summer last time. I wish him all the best, as with all the players. Livingston here works that one away up towards long on for a single. So it's look, Narayan comes in and there was that wide, of course, but there were 3 singles, but 4 runs coming so far from his first 5 deliveries. 69 for 3. It's all slowed up. It's like a different game, as I suppose it should be, really, as we move out of the power play section. But bow up, good solid stroke, really, of sort of half defence more than anything, but a good push into the offside for 1. And after 8 overs, 70 for 3, we're going to get the strategic time out now, which is the bowling time out that we get first up. And Narayan with just 5 runs coming from that 1 over. So Anil Kumble walks out, and I do think in these timeouts they'll be thinking to themselves after time, what on earth are we going to say? What on earth can we say? But if it was you, Harry, what would you be saying?
It's an interesting one, isn't it? So it's almost sort of honours even, really. The loss of those wickets, there was that big over in the middle of the power play, and the Kings looked like they were getting away, but then the loss of the wicket in that 6th over there of the power play just dragged it back a little bit, didn't it? Bauer, I sympathise a little bit. He's come in as a youngster, really keen to impress, and he's facing 2 sort of mystery spinners through the middle overs in Narayan and Chakravarti, and many more. These 2 bowlers and bowlers of their ilk have shut down many more experienced players than Bauer over the years. So it's a baptism of fire for him. I'm sure he'd much rather be facing someone bowling little skiddy 80-mile-an-hour balls like I used to bowl and smacking them out the ground. But it's a tricky period he's going to have to get through, and I think that'll be Kumble's message probably. Don't panic. You are 3 off 8. We've got a good platform. Chakravarti's 2 overs down already. Let's keep it ticking for a couple of overs, then we've got the depth to really put our foot down and accelerate towards the end of the innings.
I hate to talk over this rather fine guitar work, but I'm going to have to do so to tell you that we've got some pretty special cricket coming up over the weekend here on 5 Sports Extra. Plenty of IPL action tomorrow, 10:55, Mumbai Indians versus Rajasthan Royals. Then on Sunday, 5 to 3 in the afternoon, the Chennai Super Kings versus the Punjab Kings. But there's also the Women's World Cup, and you can hear that over on 5 Live Sunday morning from 1:30 a.m. England versus Australia. I'm almost bound to say, actually, that regardless of whether they win or not, it has been one of the most amazing tournament stories for England's women. But should they go on and beat Australia there, I'm going to struggle myself. It will have happened, but I'm going to struggle in recent times to think of a story quite of the magnitude of that if England can turn that around from their start into actually lifting the trophy. I know that they were defending champions, but that already is some sort of story, but that really will be extra special should they pull off a win over Australia, who've just been all conquering, haven't they, really, in the tournament. But England peaking maybe just at the right time. We wait and see. 1:30, 5 Live for that one, with Henry and the team and Alex, Stefan. It's going to be great fun. And you want to stay up through the night. You want to do an all-nighter on Saturday night into Sunday morning for that one. Meantime, back to the IPL. 70 for 3 after 8 overs are the Punjab Kings. And we wait to see how they're going to get on now. They raced away in the first 6 overs, lost 3 wickets in that time as they still stand at 3 down. It's all sort of tightened up a little bit now. But we're going to see Umesh Yadav bowl started this 9th over. 1 for 15 from his 2 overs so far. In fact, both he and Southee are on 1 for 15 from 2 overs. First delivery, this next, the 9th, is pushed up to mid-on, and there'll be no run. I noticed you nodding, which is always the right thing to do, Harry. But I noticed you nodding about the women. It's just an amazing effort, isn't it? Terrific story.
Yeah, and as you say, going into that final as underdogs in terms of what the bookies would say, I would imagine, but as we know in all formats of cricket, but particularly the shorter formats, 50 over cricket, T20 cricket, that momentum thing is so important, isn't it? And I don't know if I'd bet against them the way they've played for the last sort of 3 or 4 games. It's certainly an exciting matchup.
Oh, and you're the former player. You've been in that dressing room atmosphere, as we say. You had to bowl again, a little bit of extra width. Driven, beats the fielder, diving as bravely as they could there at extra cover. Past them, into the boundary sponge. It's going to be 4 runs. And that's a 4 for Livingston, and the score to 75 for 3 in the 9th. Livingston on to 18.
Yeah, truth be told, pretty poor delivery really, a wide half volley, and Livingston in what is becoming a bit of an iconic swing of the bat really. The bat almost slaps into the middle of his shoulder blades after he's struck the ball behind his back. He swings that hard at the ball, and fortunately for him, just missing extra cover, and it flew away for 4.
12 balls faced, 18 to his name. Umesh again coming in right arm over the wicket, again looking for that width, just inside the line, no, the umpire says not, it's a wide.
So he's bowled another wide half volley there. That one was too wide and signalled so, but it suggests, the last 2 balls suggest to me that the plan is to Livingston hang it outside off stump. They know that he's a guy who wants to smack the ball through the leg side. He wants to access that leg side. He's one of the best in the world at doing it, and they're going to hang the ball outside off stump and try and get him to either hit one up in the air, trying to access the leg side from a ball that's too wide of off stump, or hit it out to deep cover and get him off strike.
And the alarm for a no ball, therefore it's in the air, it's going to be safe, bounces into the hands of the man down at 3rd, and Livingston feels as though he missed out there. He's got his head up to the heavens, but he will get 1 run. He moves on to 19 and 77 for 3. Still midway through now this 9th over. But that's what happens. That alarm goes off. It frightens the living daylights out of you. But that's what it's there to signal. And sort of got away with it. Bauer on 4, facing again as Umesh comes in. 1 for 22 his figures read at the moment. Worked away on the onside and a misfield. Oh, you can't afford that. A little slip. And it's under the body of the fielder on the onside, and they will go through for 1. Umesh Yadav, 2 for 16, 2 for 20. Now that's good figures from his first 2 games. Already looking far more expensive.
Yeah, he bowled that first over, didn't he? Picked up the early wicket, 1 for 2 after 1 over it was. He's been a little bit more expensive since, but he's a real threat, good pickup for KKR. And certainly the plan is to bowl wide to Livingston. I would imagine he'll continue to do it. Long off his back, deep cover his back. We'll try and get him to just get one out to those sweepers.
And a slower ball, which has the better of Livingston, and a bit of a grin from the batter. Just having a look at that little table of front. No boundaries in there. Well, 1 boundary for 4 singles, dot balls, no balls, and a bit of wide action in there as well. But really tightened it up, haven't they? In some ways, certainly struggling to find the boundary. A couple of overs have gone by before that 4 had been struck.
Yeah, you got the inexperience of Bauer there, haven't you? Come in and a few more dot balls than they probably would have liked through this period since the power play, but still got a decent base.
78 for 3, 1 ball left to the 9th, in the air. How far has that gone? We'll have a look, and it's not gone far enough. It's been caught by Southey, and it's Livingston who's out, and he's gone just keeping his back boot inside the boundary rope as he took that catch, perfectly placed. So often you see fielders come in after backpedal, they went straight to him. It's the end of Livingston. He's gone for 19. Umesh takes another wicket, 2 for 23 after 3 for him, and the score is 78 for 4 after 9 overs.
It really is a brilliant piece of tactical work from KKR this over. You know, the camera there after the dismissal flashed straight to the bench, and they're all looking pretty pleased with themselves, and I'm not surprised. The coaching team, the analysts, clearly come up with a very obvious plan to Livingston. We're going to have third man, we're going to have cover out, we're going to have long off out, and we are not going to bowl a ball. You know, we're going to try and bowl every ball pretty much just inside that wide line and vary the pace. We know that he wants to access the leg side, and that's what they did. I think he faced 5 balls in that over. Didn't manage to get a ball away to the boundary, including one which was a free hit. And then last ball of the over, he pops one down to long off. It almost went for 6, but good bit of homework. And that's something that an area of game that Liam's probably going to have to develop, because when you get found out on a stage like this, it's, you know, the news travels pretty fast, and you'll soon find that other teams are doing it as well. So it'd be interesting to see how he responds to that as the tournament goes on.
Shakra Khan has replaced him, 26 years of age, got a 24 not out versus RCB, first time out. And it's the start of the 10th over, reaching for it a little here, Bauer, but he gets enough on it to get the ball away. And fielded there by Umesh, out on the boundary, on the offside. And he's still all smiles, still enjoying himself for what happened to the last ball of the last over. 80 for 4 into the 10th over. Yeah, what I was going to ask you to expand on is that relationship, which I'm just thinking, it's something that a lot of players wouldn't necessarily be that familiar with, comfortable with, the way that the owners play such a big part. I mean, you could go along there knowing that they've put a lot of money in as Bauer faces again and driven, and there should be it's going to get the better of the fielder out there this time. Southey racing along the ground on the offside. It's 4 runs, but that relationship, I mean, even with them, so you've gone with a big price tag, so you feel a little bit of pressure from that, but it's not as if you go there and can easily forget it with those owners breathing down your neck, I imagine.
Yeah, and these owners, a lot of them are very successful business people. And so they are used to getting results commercially, and they come in and they treat that cricketing environment like a commercial setup, like the commercial setup that it is in IPL.
Bauer on 11, having got that boundary, and he's bowled him. And Narayan has taken a wicket, 1 for 11 for him in his second over. Bauer goes for 11 off 13, 84 for 5 in the 10th over. The power play was really good, got good number of runs, but things now just starting to look, well, do you call it shaky at 5 down in T20?